Welcome to The Unsidelined Life, the podcast that challenges and encourages women to stop denying themselves a full life and to step boldly into the opportunities God is preparing for you. Join me for raw insights and engaging conversations to guide your journey of self-discovery and pursue the life that God created for you. I'm Eileen Noyes, the host of The Unsidelined Life. And so every week I talk about a couple things. Twice a month, I will get with two other ladies for different interviews. So this week, I'm going to just jump right in. This week, I've got with me Heidi Warren. She is a great friend of mine. One of those friends who we can not talk for years. And then when we talk, we just continue right where we left off. And so I love that about her. She is one who also was part of the NFL, like myself. Our exes played together as defensive ends on the Packers. But we have, as I get into conversation with her, we have the dynamics, I would say, at least starting this, the thing I want to touch up with her, when I talk about her in the book, and I talk about this, she was that friend, the one who I just clicked with. We'll talk about it a little bit, but she was the one. Yes, that.
As I will have to say, I don't want to interrupt real quick, but yes, I have to say you were that for me too. Go ahead.
Yes, and I mean that's hard to find when you're put in a situation where you have no choice as to this pond of people. And then you find someone you click with, we were that for each other. And so that's just along the lines of the theme of friendship when it comes to the NFL. So this is Heidi Warren. She's a great friend of mine. Again, I talk about her in the book. We'll talk about that too. But you want to just introduce yourself quick?
Yes. So Heidi Warren. I do live in Omaha, Nebraska. Yes, I have. I feel like we have been just I feel like we're just soul sisters. We can just be ourselves. Certain people you just click with. Anyway, 3 kids, divorced. I was married for almost 15, 16 years. I can't even remember now.
Me too. That's
crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, I think I was married. Wait, hold on. I think I was married for 15, together for 17. This is what I think it was. It was a lot. So I'm going to say, you like how I say a lot, but a lot. But yeah, it was, but we get along really good now. So that's important. So yeah, so I live in Omaha, I have 3 kids and 47 years old, getting some gray hairs. That's about it.
Yeah, but you don't look 47. Hopefully I don't look like 51. So we are aging
definitely
gracefully.
Do not. And my kids say, Mom, you sure don't act like 47. And that's okay.
What age do I act like?
25. That's what it is. That is what it is. Anyway, so I have to tell you my story real quick before we get started. So okay. I was just in Okoboji. It's not that big of a deal because now it's it feels like a lead up. But so I was in Okoboji last week for work, and we were sitting outside.
Okoboji?
Okoboji. It's like a lake. It's like a huge lake. We took our clients there for a golf event. Anyway, so we were taking them out for the evening. Anyway, we're just sitting there. There's probably only 15 of us sitting there. We're sitting on the dockish area. It's a bar area. A big, huge flock of geese fly over, and I hear all the geese, and all of a sudden, a rainstorm of shit comes down, literally, and hits my customer, just one of my customers on the leg, hits me on my whole freaking face, right here, all in my hair, everything. I'm running to the bathroom, and I didn't even know.
Wow.
Geese shit is brown and clumpy. I thought it was white. I did not know that. Anyway, that's what happened to me last week. That was fun.
Wow. Well, okay. So speaking of, because I know about that poop you're talking about. So one time I went to my friend's house and they lived somewhere in Wisconsin. I don't know. and I didn't even notice. I didn't notice that stuff on the ground.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting on a Chase lounge, and I thought that one of my babies at the time that they dropped a blueberry,
I can totally.
and I put it in my mouth.
Oh no, you did
I
not!
was like,
Oh my god!
what? Yeah, yeah.
Your
So
story is way
better
better than
in your hair.
mine.
Yeah, better in your hair than in your mouth. Because I was like, because it looked like a freaking like blueberry that just got
What
smashed
did
or
it taste
something. I
like?
just
Shit.
poop. I mean, I don't. But I was like, what is
I
this? And then
convinced my kids.
all of a sudden I'm seeing it all over the ground, and
Oh,
it's
that's
like,
so disgusting. I convinced my
uh,
kids to eat to try dog food once. Actually, they convinced me they wanted to, and I allowed it, and it was pretty disgusting.
you know what? And I'm not the only one. I actually like craved that, like during pregnancy. Like I was like, I wonder what that tastes like. I don't know
I
why.
wonder if that's
And I
like I feel like that's like an iron deficiency. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't. But the smell was like, gosh, this does. It wasn't like I like wanting dog food. I'm like,
Yeah,
this
this smells
smells
good.
like it
Let me
wouldn't be like
try
that
that. Let
bad.
me try it.
So weird. So
Yeah.
weird. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
Anyway,
these are
this
what we
is
talk about.
okay. So, and I have to tell you guys, like, this is the kind of friendship that, like last week we talked a little bit, and we were on. We won't do it here, but we were on Zoom. I think everybody needs to have a friend like this. We were on Zoom, and she's moving, and all of a sudden, I'm
What? I don't even
I'm
remember what
like,
you were gonna say.
are you on the toilet? And she
Oh,
didn't show me anything, but I just saw that she was grabbing toilet paper off the roll. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
like, are you
But
on the shitter? I'm like, yeah,
that,
I got it. I'm going to the bathroom. Why are you
yes.
calling me while I'm on the
Like,
shitter?
okay, this is I think hugely important that, and this is why, okay, one, so this is why I wanted Heidi on here. And two, yes, I talk about her in my last chapter of both books. So I talk about Heidi. I talk about this experience that we have. So, like obviously we're talking about intimacy here. And I just told you about how she's like peeing, on while I'm on the phone with her. Well, then this is actually goes into the story of what I talk about in the book. And so we had our first, well, okay, should we talk about
We should probably talk about like
that?
at the very beginning. I feel like
Yeah,
at the
just
very
because, yeah,
beginning. Well, here's how again, this was so long ago. So according to my kid,
totally.
I have a bad memory, but I told you this before. I started taking Prevagen, so that may help. We'll see. Anyway, so I feel like when we had met my boyfriend at the time, and I think you and Kabir weren't married. I don't believe at the time, were you?
No, they were.
You guys were married. Okay.
Yeah.
So when that had happened, like you were the person I clicked with, and I feel like, I mean, I'm kind of myself, and if people don't like me, they just don't like me, and I just won't hang out with them. And me and you just clicked right. And anyway, so me and you, I feel like hung out, and I felt like we always trusted each other. And so I remember going to the games at the very beginning. So I remember at the very beginning, my boyfriend at the time, he didn't want me to hang out with the wives. And I was like so upset. And I remember me and you actually talking about this. I don't know if you remember, but I remember me and you talking about this because Kabir didn't want you sitting with them either. So I was like, why? Like, what is the point? Like, do we embarrass you? Like, or like,
Yes, yes, yeah.
what is it? But it was like after, talking, it was more, Heidi, I don't want you to get to know these wives that much because they're very superficial, da da da. And I convinced him to have him and Kabir sit us by the wives. One of the first games that we sat, well, it was the first game that we sat by the wives with. And I remember all they talked about. I showed up in sweatshirt, sweatpants. I honestly don't remember what you had on because I don't, bad memory. Anyway, so
Well, if we were outside, it was probably.
yeah. But I remember the other wives had like fancy,
Fur coat.
skinny jeans, fur coats, a tube top, and high heels, and all they talked about is their rings, their jewelry. They didn't even pay attention. And they just talked about like how big is your diamond, how big is that, or how big is your house. And I was just thinking like, this is not really what I want, because they're not even paying attention. At that time, all I'm focusing on is my boyfriend and how he's playing. So it was frustrating to me because that's all they focused on. And you were one of the very few people that I knew that wasn't like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Okay. So I want to say this because we had done this, like we had already we attempted a podcast and the visual or whatever didn't take. So like, this is like a take two kind of thing. It's crazy because you're talking about this and I'm like, oh, like I kind of remember again, like you're refreshing my memory. And so like speaking into that, so when I know that when I met Heidi, or one thing that sticks out is that it just felt comfortable. It just felt like normal. It was, I mean, in the world of NFL, you just don't know where someone's coming from. Now, like we talk and, we talk about like that kind of thing. For sure, there's that where a lot of the women can have that focus, and then there's some that aren't. But for us to like find each other and to click, that was huge.
Yeah.
And so the interesting thing about that was the thing that I remember from my end and with my ex, he associated the bigger the diamond, the more they cheat.
I remember him saying that. Oh my God. I totally remember him saying that.
So in relation to that, as we were planning
but
to
that
get
used
married,
to annoy the crap out of me too. But I'm not saying the bigger the diamond, the more they cheat, because he used to be like, Eileen, you don't need a diamond, period. I'm like, that's not, because I feel like he was so basic.
It was for him. It was him. It was a direct correlation, and there was probably, I'm sure there was like to an extent truth to that.
Oh, absolutely. Like I feel like we were like, there was a very small group that were actually cared about their boyfriends or significant others or their husbands, and that weren't in there just for.
I'm sure, because being there, so I was there for 9 years, and for sure I've met some great women. I will also say that, great women, great, just great backgrounds and things like that. But again, like no slight to any of them, but this was just, you were the one that was just like that natural, just like,
just no the crazy Heidi.
No, I felt a like safety in that.
Yeah.
Like
you, so, like your first, like wait, your story about like you just went in, like the first time that she came over, because we're so comfortable. First time she came over to my house, and I didn't think anything of it until she said something later. She said like, you went to the fridge, like you don't have anything in here. I'm like, oh, so you think you can just go in my fridge? And I'm just joking. She's like, yeah, and that's just how it is. When we didn't even know it.
Yeah,
it felt comfortable.
It was for sure a comfort. Yes, for sure a comfort. So I want to get back to this ring story, because this is like one of the things, like a couple things. So my story is that correlation, that direct correlation. So I actually lived with a jeweler. I lived with a jeweler, and she did rings. And so my ex was saying, he's like, hey, I want to design our rings. And he wanted it to be a surprise. And I'm like, hey, well, Rachel, she's a jeweler. And I'm like, can you talk to her? And I was like trying to talk to her to talk to him. And he wasn't having it. He ended up going to like the mall, that kind of like store. And so I didn't know anything about it. The one thing that I knew we both wanted, we wanted it to say 1 Corinthians 13:4-7. 1 Corinthians, like, it's the love chapter, right? And so I didn't know anything about it. And even when I got there, so like I talked about this in the other one, where I got on a plane at 11 o'clock in the morning. I get there and we're married by 5 o'clock Green Bay time. So it was like right after practice. So this was obviously like not a big wedding at all. We actually had loaner rings because the rings weren't ready.
Oh, I didn't
So
know
we
that.
go
I
to
didn't
the
know.
mall. Yes. Oh yeah. It's like, so we get loaner rings from the mall. We take them to the house before we go to the church and get married. Well, we forgot the rings at home and we still get married, and it's like we don't even have rings. And this is how like unglamorous my wedding was. Oh my gosh. Well, then when we finally get the rings, it is literally like, it's almost like, I wish I had one, like those metal straws, like the metal straws that you get in
Yeah,
sippy cups
yeah,
like this, right?
yeah.
Um, it was like literally it was like a pipe. It was like a pipe like cut on both sides. It was
Flattened.
a
Yes,
just
I
a
know
it wasn't
exactly. I
platinum.
feel like I've
It
seen it.
was,
Feel like I saw it. It was like forty
yes, but
dollars.
it was blocked letters,
I feel like it was
and
like
it said,
$40 at the mall. I feel like I remember this. I feel like
no, it wasn't that cheap.
I feel like I remember it in the basement
It
at your
wasn't
house.
that.
Maybe not $40, maybe in my head. But at the basement in your house, I remember when you guys just got it. And I was like, Eileen, that's what you wanted? I remember
Yeah,
it
it
in the
looked
basement in
that
your
cheap.
house.
I
Showing it
don't
to me,
know
and
how
I
much you
remember
paid
like
for it.
you guys like either your theater room chairs or something. I remember specifically now talking about this. I remember Kabir showing it to me,
You
and I
think it's
remember
not what you
you, and
wanted?
I definitely remember this. Oh wow, I definitely not $40, maybe like 200. I don't remember that, but
Well, whatever whatever the case, it looked like it said I-Core because it was like block letters, like the ones like the stencils that you use on kids, like school displays.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
like I-Core. Oh, it was yeah, it was definitely a sight to see.
Oh,
So anyways, but yeah, that correlation was, if if like if the diamond has to do with the cheating, well, you're not getting any diamond to symbolize that I'm never going to cheat on you. So totally, like that's that was, I don't want, yeah, that was just part of the personality, the extremes
it was very
of my
different though
ex's
because
personality. So bad or good, I'm just,
certain personalities are that way, and then there was others that were like the
yes,
far extreme on the other side. So 100%.
yeah,
Yeah, but me and you, I felt like
yeah.
we were. I don't want to. I'm not bragging, but I feel like me and you were like the most grounded people. Me, you, I think Lydia. I mean, there was a group of of us. Is it Lydia? Not Lydia. Linda. Lindy can't.
Lindy.
Yes.
Oh, Lindy.
I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
like there were a
You
group
know
of us
what?
that were
Like,
like grounded, and then we kind of ignored everybody else. I did. I did. I don't know.
yeah, I don't want to bash it. No, I mean, you just got, like, I kind of felt like, I want to talk about this because obviously I hope that women who are in it are listening or will be listening
Yeah.
to this, because you kind of have to know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
And I kind of looked at it like it's almost like high school in the sense of, and this is just my take on it, or like my experience. Like, you come in, I almost want to say you come in as a freshman, but you're coming new. And so typically, the ones that are new, they just got married or they're girlfriends. That's a whole other thing. There's a dynamics of if you're a girlfriend and if you're a wife.
Oh,
That's kind of a
absolutely different. If
thing.
you're a girlfriend versus a wife, absolutely different. They look
Yes.
down
Yes. So
on you.
there's that kind of,
Even if you've been together
there's
for
like that
however
kind of
long, it doesn't
judgment.
matter. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's that. There's also the racial aspect. So I remember walking in going, okay, I'm Filipino. I don't see any other Asians. I see black men with black women. I see black men with white men. I see white men typically with white women. And I just remember thinking, where do I fit? So there's like all these dynamics
I
that kind of,
remember you kind of talking about that a little bit because I mean, and even
yeah.
it was even
And I'm
exasperated.
not one to even think about
It was even exasperated in Wisconsin though, because Wisconsin was at that
it.
time
Exactly.
it's I mean, not that it isn't, but it's still pretty racial in certain areas. I mean, even I remember just going to the bars with Steve. because Steve used to bring all the younger guys used to come in. We try to bring them under the belt or whatever. And I remember they wouldn't even let groups of them come into the bars, even though they played football. They were on the team. They wouldn't even let people in the bars because they were black. If I would be there, I'd be like the only white person. If I helped them in, then they would allow in. They were allowed in. It was crazy. There were 2 bars down there that the only the football players would go to, and it would just to kind of depend on who's running that day, the owner, if he was there or whatever. It was absolutely nuts because I had never seen that because I lived in Phoenix before. I lived in Chicago, and it was still very, very racial, segregated. Not segregated. It's just people they weren't used to black people or any other ethnicity because it's very predominantly white there.
Yeah, so that was in 2000. So we're talking early 2000s.
Yeah.
And it was almost like any person that was black, like there was almost an assumption, especially if they were any sort of fit. It was like, oh, they must be a
Panther. Oh,
That's
absolutely.
kind of
if they were black, they played
out.
football. If they were black, they played football. There were very, very few black people there that didn't play football. I think I knew maybe 2 of them actually.
So like getting back to the wife thing, I felt like, you come in and it's like high school. I know that when you're young, they have the Packers Wives Association, which again, we can't like talk across the board on all of NFL.
Yeah.
I don't know if you met Sherry, but the Packers were blessed to have that. So
they didn't even have that when
I was in.
That wasn't there when. Say what it is. I don't even know what you're talking about.
It was called the Packer Wives Association.
Well,
no, and it was.
Or maybe I just wasn't involved with it. I don't know. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I don't know if because I think that like
because Steve left in 2000 and shoot, I don't even know 3 maybe. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was there because I had heard about it before I even got married. But it's a thing where it's like, especially if Steve didn't want you involved with the wives, he probably didn't tell you, and he probably didn't tell Sherry about you.
That's probably true. I mean, even when we were married, I even said, this was even before we were married. I remember when we were sitting with the wives, I told Steve and Kabir that we wanted to go back by ourselves, like move us back to the other section by ourselves because it was just too much drama and just like they weren't paying attention anyway. So maybe that was because I really didn't talk to. I wasn't involved. I honestly didn't want to be involved with all the other wives because I didn't trust them. I only trusted people that I felt were, I don't know, similar to me or that I clicked with, I guess. I don't know. That was just maybe my own thing. I don't know.
Well, and I could I can relate to that. And I feel like for me, I know that I look back and I think, gosh, you know what? There were some sincere people, and I've talked to them about it later in life, like even like now, where I'll go, you know what, I wish I opened up to you, because there were some like sincere people that I just kind of kept to myself, whereas like coming into the issues that I had eventually come to about with the divorce or prior to the divorce, I think that if I had let them in a little bit when when I first got there, that who knows? It could have possibly helped.
I honestly,
later.
I feel like now that I'm older, I do agree, because now that I'm older, I feel like I wouldn't be so quick to just cut people off or be like, I don't want to deal with it. I would be more willing or interested to get to know them so I can help, I don't know, not say lead them, but to, I don't know, try to help
offer
yeah.
And it would go both ways. Yeah, for sure.
Life is not about material crap. Like and I feel like that's what it was with them at the time I was there. And so I feel like they all had more depth to them. I just didn't care to learn it. My fault.
Yeah. And I think, and again, this is why, like I have, like, who knows, like here, let's say, gosh, we played from 2000 to 2009. It's now literally 15 years later.
That's crazy.
And
so crazy.
My heart gravitates toward the fact that these are young girls that are trying to navigate through, And to me, I look at this as, man, you have a window of opportunity to, like, you're given finances, you have a platform, you have a short window of time that you can do
Mm-hmm.
great things with it. But a lot of us get caught up in the things that we're just talking about right now, where so you got the ones who we looked at from outside looking into their world, and what we perceive of them is they're all into the looks, the diamond rings and all that stuff. Yes, probably a lot of them were. And then we're also like we're getting caught up in these different things where it's like, for me, I want to approach these women to say, hey, be anchored in who God created you to be and who you are, because when you know who you are, and for me, like, of course, I'm always coming from like the thing of, this is who God made me, and as I know that I'm a daughter of His, I want to reflect Him, and I'm gonna root you on. I want to be a help to you. I want to be a
You're a
friend
helper.
to
You're a
you.
helper.
I want to see that if you're doing something, I want to root you on and say,
Yep.
and support you.
Yep.
So what were you saying?
I
Sorry.
say you're a helper. Like you're like me. Like I felt like when like new people coming in, I felt like I feel like Steve was like that. The new people, like let's just bring them in, let's help them, because I felt like there were so many people that made so many terrible financial decisions at the beginning where I just want to give advice. Like I'm here to help, and I used to get so frustrated because Steve would be like, people don't talk about money like that. Like black people don't talk about money, or I mean, he would just say just stuff like it would just be so frustrating to me because if we've gotten screwed, why would we not help other people? Or if we know how to do it, why would we not help other people figure it out? And I feel like it's such a closed mindset because how I feel like it's more, if I'm doing better, if I'm doing good, then you're doing worse, or not everybody can succeed the same almost. It's like a fight to the top almost.
Yeah, it's like a competitive thing.
Yeah.
And so if I can do, which, I love it because we had talked about this before, but to hear your heart, who knows like what's in store. But and I didn't even know this about you, and I was curious when you had talked right from the get go, and you're talking about your boat experience or whatever, where it's like you talked about your clients. So you obviously are doing something in the financial world. Like, let's jump ahead. I want to hear about that.
No, actually, it's not really that big a deal because I used to do. I used to work for companies that did compliance consulting and different and core industry, which is for cores for banks, which is basically everything that runs a bank. You have to have a core system that runs a bank. But I made great money. I mean, it was great money, but it was stressful. I didn't want to travel. Da, da, da. So what I'm doing now is I am just a client liaison for the small community banks that use our core. And I'm the voice from the small bank to the management team. And it's a small company. I took basically half the pay, but I make enough to pay my bills, and I don't have stress. So that's what matters to me. I mean, at 47, like if I don't have
For
stress,
sure.
I already have wrinkles. I already got Botox. I mean, I don't need any more wrinkles.
I hear you. Okay, good. So this is what I like to do as we're young in this, this whole space, this podcast space. Like, to me, again, getting back to this idea of why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I'm doing the podcast. Like, I want to highlight real women, and I want to highlight like the things that they do outside of wife, outside of mom, and then living out like their purpose and living out their, just stepping into it. Sometimes we're still navigating to say, okay, I say that God has a plan for us. God has a purpose for us. And sometimes we are still navigating through to step in who that person really is. And so, like highlighting you, when I say highlighting you, it's like, okay, hey, what are you doing now? Because a lot, especially in the NFL world, and when I take it to this aspect of things in professional sports, we become like the wife of, or association with, and that's it. Like, there's no
I was
personality
gonna say you
behind
totally
us.
lose
There's
your
no
identity. You lose your identity.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just, oh, that she's connected to so and so, and it's like it's really hard to navigate through that area, and it's really hard to find, just, I'm sure, well, yeah, I'm sure you had a life before you decided to move to Wisconsin,
Yeah.
and then all of it's like kind of stripped away. Now, in the dynamic, so there's, okay, a couple things. Like we talk about the girlfriend wife thing. There is I felt it for the women that were girlfriends, and there's a part of me that kind of I felt like I wanted to,
They
I
come
don't know,
under your
come
wing
alongside
or
them,
what?
because I sensed, kind of like, I
Yeah.
sensed
Yeah.
that even though I was married, I sense, gosh, they're almost looked at as less than.
Yeah.
And I didn't
They
like
were.
that because I
Yeah.
knew a lot. You were a girlfriend. I knew another girl who, she's half Jap. This girl, she was half Japanese, half white. She was actually worked. She was like, I don't know if you remember. I don't remember her name. She actually worked construction for Lambo. She was like one of the
Oh,
head
really?
people, and she was dating. Yeah, she was dating
I didn't know
a Packer.
that.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I totally, I connected with her too, but it was like, it's like I had this compassion for the ones that were kind of looked down on, and I just didn't
That's
like
because you have a
that.
good babe. That's because you have a good heart. Like people that are less than or people that are oppressed. I mean, that's just we gravitate to helping people. We want them to feel comfortable in life. I mean, I feel like I have. I honestly feel like it's who I've always been. I have always gravitated towards somebody that feels like they are by themselves. Like even
Mm-hmm.
even my
Mm-hmm.
ex-husband, I felt like he was in the corner at the bar by himself. I felt like he looked like a wacko. I don't know. And I want to say wacko, but I feel like he looked like that. I felt sorry for him, to be honest. And I tell him when I told him that before. I mean, it's a joke now. And he's like, "No, you didn't, Heidi." I really did. I really, like, his shoes matched. He looked lonely, and his shoes matched his shirt and had like way oversized at the time. And I was like, that was the style, I guess. But yeah, I felt sorry for him. That is literally why I went up and talked to him to begin with. Yes, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah. So I feel like I always gravitated towards people that I want to help. I do feel like when in the NFL for me, I feel like I kind of, I don't know, I feel like I kind of like closed people off. Like I was so close to the newer people that I hung out with a lot of the guys because our house was
Mm-hmm.
like a house that we would bring on all the new guys and stuff like that. So
I remember.
I feel like guys would always come in, and that's what I would feel like I wanted to advise them. But I don't feel like I actually got to know any of the women besides you and a small other group because I didn't take the opportunity to, and at the time I literally just focused on, I didn't really even try. I didn't try. Like I focused on Steve. I didn't even go to the games really that much. Like I just watched the games at home because I thought that, I mean, because I wanted to watch them at home with my mother-in-law, and I don't know, I just didn't even go to the games anymore after a while. So yeah, I feel like I
Yeah.
do wish I would have done a little bit more just to connect with other people because everybody, we all have a heart. I mean, it's just we all have different priorities at the different time.
Yeah, and so you say that, and that's like one of the things that, whenever I ask a lady like, "Hey, would you be open to conversation?" That's always a thing. It's like, "Hey, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently?" So you answered that question,
I
like,
would talk.
same thing. Same thing with me. It's like, gosh, I wish I'd given it, like a chance, or other people a chance. I probably would have had deeper friendships. But I think it does come like down to somewhat of an insecurity in ourselves that, like it's
I
this
didn't.
thing that I kind of put on them. But it was probably my thing. It's probably my own issues. It was for sure my own issues to go, well, yeah, I don't want to make friends because they're probably gonna be fake, or they're probably, we probably can't relate, or even,
I just
I'll
didn't
be
even
straight
want to
up
try to
honest. Like,
trust people. I just didn't even want to try because
yes,
that's like
yeah. Like for me, I
I
was
didn't
like, oh,
want to take the time to trust
they're
you.
probably not Christian like me, you know, like at the time. So this is what happened with us, and this is understanding like the unglamorous parts. We're talking about the unglamorous parts of the NFL. And so I remember, so this is what we experienced. Like we as young women, we had our first babies at the same time. And that's where I talk about the book. I talk about the fact that um we were just like we we had that experience together, our
Wait, you
first
were like
together.
cute pregnant. I was like a beast. I was a beast. I was like huge.
I was cute. No, I was not cute pregnant. Oh my
In
gosh,
my
this is
head, you were very cute pregnant.
ugh.
No, I had like I
My
had like
kids.
I gained 60 pounds. I had like a triple chin. Like my chin was connected. It was bad. It was bad.
Well, my kids look at my pictures and they're like, "Mom, is that you?" I had short hair, glasses. I mean, honestly, I would say that
Wait, I
like the
don't.
whole fine thing. Oh yeah. Oh, I could.
I have to. I
Maybe
don't
we
think
could
I
show.
can't
Maybe we
remember
could show
that.
pictures, and we could show the pictures of my first pregnancy and my last pregnancy on this video. Oh my gosh,
You're
it would
always
be
cute,
hilarious.
babe. You were always cute pregnant, and I was always
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna eat so healthy, and then I still gained all this weight, no matter what I do. So yeah. Actually, my first pregnancy,
So
I
well,
remember I had like one watermelon every single day, and that was like I felt like that was healthy, but that was pretty good. That was like my thing I craved.
on top of the other
But
things.
with my other kids, like with my second one, I ran, I did all this stuff. I tried to eat super healthy, and I gained pretty much the same amount of weight. And then my third one, I said, screw it. So I still gained the same amount of weight.
At least you enjoyed it.
No, I don't even remember. I think I just shoved it in my mouth. I thought, who knows? Anyway, yeah.
Well, so that was the dynamics with us is that we like you guys got cut. When did you get cut?
So Taya was, I remember this. So Taya was 6 months old when Steve got cut. So he got blackballed from the league. That's the whole story. I mean, I know we talked about it a little bit, but so yeah, he got cut, and I had to pack up the house by myself because he went back to go train so he can get picked back up right away. But that never happened because again, he got blackballed from the league, and he should have been picked up right away. Um, but yeah, I had to pack up the whole house by myself with a 6 month old baby. And I think we had only been married for, I think we'd only been married for maybe like 6 months to, because we got married in the off season. No, it was a bye week. It was a bye week. It was a bye week because we would have had to wait for the next whole off season or what. So we just did like a smaller wedding, and because we had already been living together for however long, like I don't know, 2 years, year and a half. And so we went to Branson just with all of our family, and we just got married there. So something small. But anyway,
Wait, so you weren't
I think we were
you weren't married yet when you left?
we were married. We were
I
married, but
thought
I
you
feel
were.
like it was only maybe like 8 months. I mean, it was newly married because. Well, wait, hold on. Because Taya was 6 months old. It must have been. We must have got married like right before we left, before we were cut. Actually, I think it was. Anyway, I think.
Yeah, so when I think about that, like these are the things that people don't understand. It's like we have this this great friendship, this just the raw, just a natural clicking, and then it's stripped away midway through season. And I mean, you and there was I don't know if you remember Sam Congato. Those are the two, and so he was like a little. He was like a little brother to my ex and just kind of like family. So as we're
I
growing
remember
as a
him.
family, he would come over. He was like Uncle Sam. And we just it was such a like again like that same like natural dynamics of friendship. And so the best ones, the ones that were the most or that we were closest to, are the ones that were taken away. And so I remember like this it kind of it can gosh, if I look
It.
into
You,
how
do you know what it feels like? Do
childhood
you know what
like
it feels like when you get cut and you get taken away? It feels like a death, or it feels like a divorce because everything's just gone.
yes, yeah. And so I was just about to say like for me I looked at like my friendships, and this is a total other like kind of branching off, but I look at my friendships and I've realized like I've come to this conclusion which I have to like not look at it like that anymore. But I come to this conclusion like, gosh, all my important friendships, all my important relationships, they're taken from me. And so it happened in different places throughout my life when I was younger. And then I get to adulthood and same thing happens. And so with you, it's like, oh my gosh, this is like my good friend and she's being taken. So I just had to deal with that when I left my family. I
I was
left
gonna
my,
say, because
I
me and
was
you were like,
super close
you
to my
were
mother.
like the first person that we clicked at the beginning when you first came. So I think me and you were like
Yeah.
first friends when you came there. Yeah, I'm positive we
Yeah.
were, because I remember Kabir. You were actually not even there yet. I met Kabir at the post office. Ugh, he was talking to me like crazy. I was like, anyway, I met him at the
Yeah.
post office, and he was like, wife or girlfriend at the time. He was like, "Yeah, she's coming here. I gotta introduce you," and blah blah blah. And I remember just going home to Steve, and I was like, "I just saw Kabir at the post office, talking my ear off."
Yeah.
So I do think that me and you were like, I think we were one of the first connections at the beginning. So we also trusted each other too in that way. But
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
it can change so
And it
fast.
was taken.
Yep.
Yeah, it was taken. And so these are the things that people like, this is an awareness too, that I want people to understand. Like, this is not all glitz and glamour, that you can have a friendship that can just get taken from you. Like you said, it's almost like a death. And for me, once that happened, it was like, why am I going to put myself, am I going to put myself in a
Yeah.
situation where that's going to happen again? And I think that after that, I probably, again, looking back, I probably like secluded myself even
Bro,
more from the world, from that world, because it's like, why am I going to invest in friendships that's going to just probably be taken from me?
100.
And so, yeah, it's like an interesting, just an interesting like
That's 100.
perspective or just different to go
Probably,
through. So,
I feel like that's probably 100%. Like, I think that's probably
mhm.
what you did probably at the very beginning. But then once you got into like feeling comfortable with everybody else, then you've met different groups of people and stuff. But as like time goes by, people that you click with, you're always going to click with. I mean, so I do think,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah.
yep,
Yeah, and so so these are the things again. It's like as I'm doing this, and I want to like to have you be part of this. I wanted one for people to see Heidi because when I talk about you in the book, of course I refer to our like massage together and how the whole thing of getting back to our intimacy as we have a couple's a prenatal massage, which looked like a couple's massage because we're together in a room and we're naked together and
Wait,
your
you gotta
blanket falls
set this.
off. And
Let's set the tone up to begin with. Like, let me tell the story, because in my head I saw it differently
okay, you
than
tell the
your
story.
head. In my head, I remember like you got you. I think Steve and Kabir like got us massage because we were due about the
No,
same time, right?
yeah, no, I got it.
Oh, you got it. Okay, you got this.
Yes, because it was like I think it was like around Valentine's Day or something like that. I don't know. It was a special because
Yeah,
I was all about deals, and I was like, oh, we can get a couple's massage for cheap.
my kind of girl, exactly. So I remember, and I never get massages because I don't really like people touching me or whatever. And so this, like, honestly, I think this was like the first massage I ever went to be honest. I don't, I really do think, because I've only had a couple in my life, I don't really like them. Anyway, so I went and we are on the bed, and I actually am the one that fell over, right? Yeah. Yes. So anyway, we're on the bed.
Your towel, your sheet, because you were on your belly. I just remember you doing this, like you're like Superman, like help, help.
I'm
Can
falling
I
off
see
the
you
bed,
trying to
like,
reach
yes, and like trying to get my, I don't know.
your blanket that fell off of you?
Yes, and I can't do it. And you're so like sweet and innocent. I walk around naked, and you're like, "Oh my god, what? Oh my god, Heidi!" And then you're laughing, and they're like, "Oh my god, I love you." And I was like a beach
So
whale,
I'm
like
like
literally a
walking
beach whale.
naked
Can't
to
get
go
my
pick up your
sheet.
blanket.
Can't find my sheet. Falling off the like whatever you call that damn thing, the massage table. Yeah,
Massage table.
yeah, that's it.
So that's the intimacy. That's the intimacy between Heidi and I.
Yep. We like
All right.
see each other naked, I guess, at the massage table.
Well, here's the thing though that I want to bring up with that
Yeah.
is look, we're at again 15 years
Oh
later,
yeah.
and I don't know how long it's been that
15
we
years
have
for
not
you,
talked.
15 years for
I,
you, when you think about it, for when we hung out together, me and Steve left at 2023 ish. So that's 20 years, 21 years, whatever. So it's been even longer.
yeah,
Yeah.
and this is the beauty about friendship, and this is like I think for me, like, and I think about this like I think every talk I have there's like a theme, and for me I look at this as there are some friendships that just they're they're just so pure that it's like when you talk it's like time hasn't passed. And so, like I said, I've already talked about this, but this is the kind of friendship I think everybody needs. And you and I are like it's different in so many ways, but I love that we can just like connect, and I love that we can just be who we are and be safe with each other.
Yep.
And so that's I don't know. I just thought that that's really you know
Zach, you're missing it.
even still like we won't go into other things, but okay, so let me ask you this, like um you had talked about, and let me know if I'm treading on a not a good place, but um so you obviously knew what went on with my ex, and I don't really I honestly I don't really care to say like names,
Yeah.
just you know
Yep.
how I am. um like you and Steve, you guys co-parent and you guys get along, right?
Yep.
Like
We
how,
actually get along.
how
Actually, so here's what's crazy. I'm very, very proud of where we're at, and I do it. I pat myself on the back because he actually had an affair when we were married, and I mean people know this, so I don't feel bad saying it. He had an affair, and it was devastating to me. But time
yeah,
goes by, and you realize we weren't. I knew we obviously I would want. I mean, we were married. I wanted us to be a family. I don't want us to ruin that vow, but we were just not meant to be together, and it actually worked out better for us. We so
mm-hmm.
here's what's crazy is he's got a daughter with his girlfriend that they live together. So their kids, my kids, sister, she stays overnight at our house. She sleeps with me in my bed.
Wow,
Yeah, so she comes over and
how old is she?
she just turned 4. Yeah, so she comes over and she wants to hang
That
out with
little,
me, and she hangs out and she sleeps in my bed instead of her sister's bed. So I am proud of it. Yeah.
wow,
So I feel
okay.
good because we do really good. Like I mean I don't want to say it just happened overnight because it definitely was. It took like everything in me to. At the time, it was so my boyfriend was like, Heidi, the more people that love your kids, that's better, right? And of course, that is better. So I embraced it, and I just want to get along. So we just figured out how to get along. If we just ever, I think the first like maybe 4 months were really hard. It was hard for me because, I mean, I felt like my family got completely torn apart with 3 young, not young kids, but my youngest was probably, what was he, 7? I mean, so he's still pretty young. And
Wow.
yeah, I feel like, but we've really, we got in a really good place. And I feel like it takes effort at the beginning because one person has to start that process and not, just let your guard down because we're all hurt when you get divorced. Everybody's hurt. So I feel like,
Yeah,
yeah. So I feel like that I'm in a good spot with everything with that. So I'm happy with that.
that's super cool, that's super commendable. I love that. Like it takes, we're obviously in two totally different situations.
Yeah.
I think the commonality is for you and for me in different ways. Like you chose to forgive the situation, you chose to forgive Steve, and that you were willing to be open to like put you still have your boundaries, but you put that hurt aside and you put that violation toward you and the marriage, and you forgave it and you moved forward for the health of your kid, one,
For
for the health of
myself, for
you, that you
myself
weren't
too.
bitter, you
It
weren't
was
victim.
a lot
Yes,
of it was for
exactly.
a lot of it was for my own mentality because I was depressed. I was depressed. I was sad.
Right.
I felt like everything in my life just got torn out from underneath me. I felt like I didn't know. I mean, when you're going through divorce, everything is just it's scary because you don't know what's ahead of you. You don't know where am I going to live next? Where am I going to move to? I mean, am I going to have to share my kids? Where am I not going to see my kids as often? I mean, it's just so it's very devastating going through a divorce. So yeah, it takes a lot of actual mental thought process to do it where you have to try to get along. You have to try before it makes it
Yeah.
easy. Yeah.
And like the fact that you say you forgave and you did it for you, huge. I think that people don't realize it. I think that people choose unforgiveness thinking that they are entitled to it and that it's hurting the other person when really they're hurting themselves most. So thank you that you just gave a testament to I forgave so that
Ah.
you no longer live this place of like slavery to like victim. And that, I mean, I'm sure it wasn't easy, but
It
I'm just
was
saying
not
like
easy, and I was
you
literally depressed. Like when I say depressed, I was depressed. Like I
yeah.
slept on the couch. I would be on the couch. Like I would take my kids to school. I would lay on the couch, and I would just stare at the ceiling all day long. Didn't even have the TV on, and I would stare at the ceiling, cry, and then go pick up my kids from school, come back, and just like cry. Like it was like that for months.
So what changed that? What made you change that? Like what made you go, okay,
Honestly,
enough is
so
enough?
I
And
I went on antidepressant medication. I saw a counselor
mhm.
and just talking actually. So we also did I don't know if this changed it, but we did like it was marriage couples therapy, but it wasn't we decided we weren't going to stay together, but we decided to figure out how to talk to each
Mhm.
other. So that I feel like helped.
Yeah.
And it was one that actually brought God into it. So it was he I wish he still had openings because he had the place had like a 2 year waiting list. But if you can find a great counselor, just to somebody to
Wow.
talk to, that makes such a difference. And I feel like people talk about mental health a little bit more, but I mean people used to not talk about that stuff. But I mean I was
Right.
definitely depressed. Yeah.
Wow. But so forgiveness was a lot of was would you say that
That
forgiveness has
was
been a lot like a big
every
part of your
that was everything. If
that's
I can do it,
okay,
if I
cool.
wasn't able to forgive him, I wasn't going to be able to heal. So it was everything.
Dang.
Yeah, it was
Ooh,
every.
preacher girl. Okay. Okay, so this just got me fired up a little bit because like I love that. And see, I talk about that in the book because okay, you had a situation like that. I had a situation where my spouse walked away from me and 8 kids, and I mean, like
Devastating.
I without yes, without God, without doing that, we would all be in such a different place. And so I just think like, man, like that is huge. And I mean, I wish, one day, I mean, I still, I pray for him. I pray for reconciliation. For me, I've forgiven him. And I think that because of the tone, to me, I just looked at it as like, um, I looked at my motherhood. I looked at the fact that like I have a tone to set and I have this like privilege and this like mantle to say how I go through this situation is going to speak volumes to my kids. And so for me, I don't like to bash their father.
Yeah.
I tell them I forgive him. I encourage them to forgive him. So there's like this place of honoring and respecting him for the things that he did, understanding and making sure that they know, hey, like even I tell them like, guys, your dad loves you. He believes that he's doing this right thing. Like he thinks that he's doing right by following this thing. I, I completely don't agree with that. And I pray that there's reconciliation there. But to know that I am free from feeling like a victim or feeling like he owes me something, like an apology or something. Like if I don't ever get that, it's not on him. I can't depend or rely on
It like
this
it
person
releases
to
if you
say sorry.
just forget to try to because we all want like we all want that. Like, I'm sorry. I wish, like, try to, like, I screwed up. I should have, like, all that kind of stuff, like, but if you, once you release it, it just feels so much lighter. It just, like, you're not waiting for something else. Like, you don't need it because you don't need that to make yourself happy. So it honestly
Yeah, you
feels
don't
like a
need that
release.
person to say that. Awesome. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. Like I don't know, I haven't seen, how old are your kids now?
Taya's 21, 18.
We obviously at 21. Mm-hmm.
Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, they were
And
only like, I
what's
got a
the last
picture
age?
of them. They were a week apart.
Yeah, totally. I remember that.
Yep, they were a week apart. And Taya, I remember, I have a picture of like Taya really, right, Taya sitting next, there's our big dog, Taya on the couch. And then,
Yep.
what's his name again? You're the oldest?
Rashid.
Rashid.
Yep,
Yes, he was
Rashid.
it was either Taya falling over or he was falling over on top of each other. I have a picture of it. I gotta find it though.
Oh my
That was
gosh.
before it was digital. I gotta go dig for that.
Wow. So cute.
Yep.
They probably what they obviously would they wouldn't even know each other. So and then
Well,
you said
Taya
21,
actually.
18. So I have an 18-year-old.
I was gonna say Taya would because
She
I've
actually
showed
what?
her picture. Well, no, I've showed her pictures before. I've showed her pictures, but I go down there and I dig at
Aw.
pictures at times, trying to clean out my storage room, and I get annoying and show pictures. And I would hope that she remembers things. I don't know.
Okay, and then well, how old is your third? And he's the boy.
So he is almost 16. He'll be 16 in a couple weeks. So, and he's like
Okay, so yeah.
tall as
Wow.
heck. Like, yeah, way taller.
Awesome. Okay.
So I want to say that out of everybody I know, I don't have like, I have like, small group of friends that I love. And like you said, certain people that you don't have to talk to, like we haven't talked for years, but we can always still connect. I will say you are one of the people that I've always looked up to. And I do feel like you've always been like an amazing mother. Like you are one of the people that I've always said, like, she's amazing. Just so you know. Yeah.
Okay. I won't cry. Oh, I I love you like so much, and yeah. Okay, you almost like left me speechless. What I thank you, like thank you for me. Like
It's
okay.
true.
So this is
I'm very honest. I just don't know if I've ever even said that to you. 100%
oh my
on
gosh.
the Bible. I do actually, because you have the most kids too of anybody I know. I'm like, how the hell does she have this many kids and she's that freaking amazing? That is definitely, I say that a lot.
Gosh, you know what it just brought me to? It reminded me, I think I called you. I remember, okay, so to the audience. So there's Green Bay where we lived. I remember there was a day that I called you when I was down in the dumps. And I think I remember telling you, like, I wanted that. I don't know why. I don't even remember if you called out of the blue, but I literally drove there. So it's a half an hour drive. That drive was a drive where I was literally thinking, God, can you just take me? Like,
Wait,
because
you drove where?
I was
You drove where?
so
What are you talking? I don't remember this. What?
so yeah, you okay, so I just remember it was super hard time with me and my ex.
Was that the
And
earlier on though? It was it earlier on, like,
yes.
okay,
Yes, I was still living there. I think I literally left that house. I remember telling the older kids, guys, just and he's 15 or 14 or whatever. I'm like, guys, just take care of the kids. I gotta go. I gotta
yeah,
go.
yep.
And I remember driving and I know there was snow on the road and I drove to Appleton, but that was the drive where I was thinking like, God, I can't do this anymore. Like my joy of being a mom and being a wife is just like, I'm just being stripped of it. I can't take it anymore. And I was literally having this conversation of like, God, just take me out. And the one thing that held me to it was because I was like, can you just like have me like crash into the snow or something? And I just knew that there was this feeling like, no, like you like I need you to do this for your kids.
Mm.
And I just remember that. But I remember, I don't know if you just randomly called, but so me being, so you're talking about me and how I helped you or how I'm inspirational. I just know that I remember talking to you and I hadn't talked to you in a long time, but it was like a huge thing where you literally were on the phone with me when I was down in the dumps.
I love.
So it goes both ways.
I do feel like
So
certain people that you connect with were there at the right time. God just has a way of doing things. I definitely know that.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. And I know that's why we're talking
Did I ever
again.
tell you that
Because it's been
did I ever tell you this? I don't know if I ever told you this. That my grandma was friends with Mother Teresa. Did I ever tell you that?
no.
She was invited to her funeral.
Wow.
We have like three ordained or ordained. I don't know what, because I'm not like super Catholic. I'm not Catholic anymore, really. But we have three ordained saints in my family. Like super, super religious on my dad's side. Super religious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang, Mother Teresa's
Just
funeral.
I got pictures of my grandma and mother.
That's pretty
I got like probably 15 pictures of my grandma and Mother Teresa together. They did mission trips and stuff together. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I actually didn't even know that until her funeral. But anyway, I didn't know the mission trips.
That's crazy. Okay, now I want to just real quick as we close out. So, like I said, I always like to highlight these women that obviously you can see, you guys can see, it's clear of why I wanted Heidi on here. Like, this is a real person who she is so, it's like you can tell like like the feeling like I can be me around her. So you guys, I'm sure there's no doubt. Now, as we close out, I like to highlight like you and what you're doing now and how, and it could be that you're still in, you and I know there's still like hard seasons, but you what are your passions? What are you doing? Because I know that you had mentioned before, and we talked about this, like you talked about like the financial aspect of things, like in regards to NFL. Like, what are you doing now? And I know you touched upon a little bit, but what are you doing now? Like, how are your kids? What's going on in your world?
Yeah, let me think here. So my oldest is my girls are good. They're in college. They're my oldest finishing out her first or last year. The next one is going her first year. Freaking expensive as heck. My youngest is he's playing quarterback actually, which is strange because quarterback versus nose tackle, not at all similar. But he's playing.
Oh right, okay,
yeah, quarterback, and he's going to be a sophomore. He just got his first offer from Iowa State. It's a D1 school. I forget. I'm not football. Iowa State.
Yeah, I think it's Iowa State.
Yeah. So that was exciting.
Wow, huge.
And he's been getting phone calls and stuff. So that's kind of cool. I'm the one that keeps him grounded because I don't know shit about any of that stuff. And Steve takes care of everything else because he's got a sports academy and all that stuff. And then my work, I travel during the week and share custody with the kids. So I travel the days that he's got the kids, so it works out absolutely perfect. And I am going through a season with my boyfriend that I have now that I want to say he's my life partner, but I don't know exactly where we're going to be at because, again, we are going through that 7-year. I feel like it's like a 7-year mark, 14-year mark, and 21-year mark is like those seasons. I feel like that's about where they are for what I've realized.
Yeah.
But he was somebody that I had dated before I had met my husband, and then he'd moved away, and then we reconnected back up, and then we'd been together since I got divorced. But we don't live in the same town, and I do feel like he's my soulmate. We are just not quite connecting.
Yeah.
But I do feel like we'll get back to that spot. But it is what it is. But I am passionate about other things. I make dollhouse stuff. For fun. I learned that in COVID, but I don't do it anymore because, I could show you all kinds of little stuff. And
oh my gosh, can you send me pictures?
Yeah, hold on. I gotta show you though because this is pretty cool.
And you're not going to the bathroom, right?
No, I'm not. But look at this shit. So, well, actually, that's not that cool. All these little tiny things I make. I did this in COVID. I don't even know if you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did those within COVID. It gave me something to do, and then I'm pretty passionate about like civil rights and voting rights and people being oppressed. So that's what I focus on, really. That's all I do.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And that's not like that's like a not all. Like I know that sometimes it feels that way.
Yeah.
But you are a great mom. and you are a beautiful, like, strong woman. You're an encouraging person. Like, I love, like, see, this is the thing that, like, again, like, as we close out like 5 minutes later, but like the fact that you are doing things like that, like that is such a, that's something that so many women neglect. The fact that you found something, like, to me, I put down, I started like playing the flute. I loved it, but that was right at the time, when things, and so I could not pick it up again. I'm hoping that one day I can, and I'm so busy. Like, I found my other gifts. Like, I like love to write, and this is obviously like part of my purpose is sharing my story, like wanting to help women. But it's like you go through seasons, and you navigate through, like, what am I meant for right now? What am I supposed to do? And so, like, we're all in different seasons. So, like, I know that there's a part of you that thinks, like, I'm just this or just that, but like, it's all process. And you obviously, like, you have no idea, like, how much you encourage me, and you bring a light to the room that's never gonna change.
You're so sweet. I always love you.
Girl, I love you too. We have to see each other, like, in person.
I know. I was trying to tell my daughter we need to go out there and come visit. But I feel like
you should.
Literally, I can't believe summer's almost over, because, like, literally I feel like it's gone already. We haven't even done anything.
3 more weeks. My kids have 3 more weeks. So yeah.
I mean, my kids, I feel like I've been on vacation nonstop. I mean, one vacation with us, but they're on vacation all the time. I feel like they're on vacation a lot. I don't know. It's just in my head. Anyway.
Oh my God.
I love you.
Heidi, I love you so much. Thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for just being an awesome friend.
You are amazing. You always kind of like make me tear up.
Okay. All right.
All right. Bye, sweetheart.
Love you.
Love you too.
Until next time, love well, celebrate your strength, and discover the new things you are capable of. You are a light in the lives of those around you, and no night is too dark for you to find your way.